Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to Lights Out League Racing, Season 32, and we're at Race 8, almost two-thirds of the way through the season, and it's a momentous occasion. The first time we are visiting the Madrid, brand new circuit for 2026, and there's been quite a few mixed feelings about this one. For me, I'm really excited, and for the laps I've done it on myself, I don't do many these days, but it's so exhilarating, and I'm quite surprised at some of the negative feedback that we've had of it. It's just challenging, and because people can't drive it, I guess they're moaning maritals. Well, here we again with the Div 1 boys, following last week's fantastic race at the Austria Sprint. Very contentious moments for both Div 1 and Div 2 boys, but it's brand new week, brand new race, and we've got one or two drivers on the grid for the first time this season, and one of them reserving in the Cadillac is the Welshman Taffy Ross, who seems like he's unable to read. Maybe it's a Welsh thing. He's the first one leading us out on the circuit for the hot laps, doing a short quali, followed by 50% race, standard league format. Those that are used to us know that we do have some special races throughout the season, but on this occasion we are doing the standard format, navigating around the final corner, and we'll do the first hot lap for the Madrid for Lights Out League Racing. Down the start finish straight, approaching turn 1, hug the right hand side, apex clip, very similar start to Vietnam, I think, but then it's pretty much a straight, where straight line mode will be active. There is opportunity to make an overtake, especially throwing it on the inside, so I'd have to defend. Approaching the tight chicane of turns 5 and 6, where they fixed a bug where you can just cut that under the tunnel, climbing uphill, a blind right-hander where it's going to catch many drivers out, missing their braking point, navigated very tentatively by Taffy Ross. Throw your car around turns 10 and 11, very difficult to navigate them, very much like a Saudi Arabia sector 1, and round the bank corner of turn 12, one of a feature corner that's going to be on the calendar, I'm sure. Very difficult turn, avoid going deep. Round turn 13, or you will invalidate as we approach the second tunnel portion of the circuit. Tight right-hander, hairpin-like corner of 17, and then you can pretty much just feather the throttle, but flat out cut the apexes and use as much track as possible. Turn 20, tight left-hander, small hairpin, very difficult 90-degree right-hander in the final corner. It's probably one of the most difficult on the circuit, where you can turn in, but it approaches to you, and you can see Taffy found that very difficult. Cross line with a 33.6, I reckon. Oh, that's quicker than I thought. Benja, 31.3, maybe going to go into the 30s, maybe in the high 29s. But good start there from Taffy. Next across the line is Katamies, Mr. Fridge himself in the Haas, goes up to the front row with a 31.5, just 2 tenths behind the Div 2 of Benja, but then Tommy Ash with a 30 flat, joined by Benedict, only 3 hundredths behind him. Oh, it's tight at the top. Shawnee P, next jump by Benji, both on the second row, and Firefang in the Alpine on his season debut with a 35. Half a second off Tommy and Benedict. Dax Daniels going for his first hot lap. So we'll see Amadi and Lennon just so we'll keep an eye on ID there. He's been missing once or twice over the last couple of weeks, and his championship fight just slowly falling away from his clutches. He's one to keep an eye on the Aston Martin. very quick. Maybe he's found the new regulations a little bit more difficult to pick up than the likes of a Portuguese or a Jax. He's got the fastest middle sector as it stands. Oh, clatters the wall. Coming out of 20. Doesn't look like it's damaged his wing, but this final corner is difficult to navigate. Crosses the line and is on the second row, 33. So, yeah, found it a little bit tentuous, that one. Lennon's invalidated, so we'll keep an eye on Jax. Let's see how he's getting on. I'm sure he's raced this circuit once or twice already. So all eyes will be on the Haas. His main rival, Portuguese. If Portuguese was not racing at all, then Jax would be probably up the top, and it's a 29.2, good 8 tenths ahead of Tommy. Wow. I said he's going to be quick, and the Swiss driver, he's set the benchmark. As Lennon, he's going to go in and we know he's going again, then he's got enough in the tank. So we'll keep an eye on the Cadillac, who's unfortunately going to be stepping back a little bit after today's race. He's got other commitments on a Wednesday, which we, of course, respect that. Although we will be giving him so much shit for that. He'll still perform some of his majority of his admin duties, but his racing will slightly decline. Comes round that banked right-hander. You're going through that. It seems like it's going on forever. It's about 6 seconds. But, you can invalidate going on the inside, so be careful not to cut that too much. Throws his back end out of 13. Good evening, hot stepper. Step on up. Fantastic, thank you very much. I hope you're well. Amadi calling that one a day. He's retired in the pits for the session. Maybe he's looking at saving himself many soft tyres, or thinking that's his limit. As Lennon goes up to P9 then, 31.4. Keeping an eye on Guna then. Div 2 driver who won his first race last week. Managed to hold off the charges of the drivers behind. Claimed the race win, and he invalidates. As I was giving so much praise. Keep an eye on George then. Approaching turn 20 as Guna gets well out of the way. Diving into the pits. The Red Bull driver. Looks like Guna's got enough to go again then. Needs himself a banker lap as George goes up to P4 with a 30.9. Jump back and see how Adam gets on as he crosses the line. George with a fantastic pace last week. Undone by his own errors. 30.5 for Adam onto row 3 and to P6. As big man Portuguese already invalidating. Pressure's getting to the championship holder and leader. As we'll keep one eye on Giza. Not the only Welshman on the circuit. Hot Stepper says he's only done the one race here at the Madrid, and it was absolute carnage, and I'm expecting that for the Div 2 boys. I'm expecting many safety cars and many battered cars. They'll be sat around in fish and chip shops. Aston Martin looking for big points today. As well as the Haas boys trying to push the Audis right to the wire. And Keys goes P11. Keys has gone for another lap. Yeah, track limits are a bitch, but just stay on the track, basically, like any other one. Basic. Oh, and he looked like he's going to deep at 21 and goes in the pits. I don't know why he went round again. Portuguese going for another hot lap then. Saved himself enough fuel. Got Hot Stepper watching. One of the Div 2 boys you'll catch around 9 PM UK. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We've got 165 subscribers as of today. Let's see if we can make it up to 170. Small targets, big dreams. The big dreams is that I go to bed on time. And nicely around turn 12. Left-hander 13. Maximising the circuit. Approaching the bridge section. Oh, just clips the wall. Out of 17. Don't know if it cost him too much time. He's pushing the limits here, the Audi driver. The fastest middle sector. So did Amadi and has started P4, where Tommy's got up to P2 now with a 29.5. And Portuguese only on the front row with a 29.3. Not able to eclipse Mr. Jax Daniels as of yet. Jax has invalidated. Oh, there's the pressure getting to him. Let's keep an eye on Adamako. Not going as close to the wall as the Portuguese driver did. Going through the final section. Again, he's pushing the limits here. I can imagine this circuit's an absolute dream to drive on the wheel. And he's decided to bail out of that one then. Avengers not on a lap. Everyone going into pits then. Only 5 minutes left of short quali. And everyone coming out for their final laps. And we'll keep an eye on both Cadillacs on the similar strategy here in regards to their hot laps. Lennon setting himself up for his final flying lap then here at the Madrid for season 32. It's 32 seasons. Incredible. A proud achievement for all involved, from both the Lights Out Lead Racing team and the FTRL boys prior to this. And we're almost up to 200 members in the Discord. And a big credit goes to the recruitment team, especially Terry Reds and Benedict, who's on circuit and currently in P4. Benedict doing some great work with AI and doing some advertising. Unless you're Beth Stibbles. Beth Stibbles can fuck off. Get a proper haircut. Getting well out of the way here of Lennon as you come in round turn 20. Loss of traction, but looking to gain some time. Oh, almost clatters the wall on the final corner and gains a couple of places up to P11, 30.9. Good evening, Six Pompano. Where are you? Let's be having you. Where are you? Should be racing. Unless you're banned. I can't keep up with people that are banned. Good evening, Dave Bandit. Good evening, Ollie. I can't wait to see the Div 2 boys. It's going to be eventful from start to finish. As Taffy just avoids the wall. Gains 1.5 seconds up to 1:32.2. Pano on his holidays. You are missed, my friend. But enjoy your holidays. I'm sure they're well deserved. George not on his lap. He's going to go again. 4 safety cars for ensure is the prediction. Benedict's invalidated. Has he got enough time to go again? Jax has just started his lap. So let's just jump on then with... Benji just started his. So let's jump on with Fire Fang. And see how he's getting on as he's just going through Sector 2. Through the S's of 10 and 11. Well, if you've got that prediction, I'll take your word for it. You're going to hit the barrier in the first 10 laps. I reckon less than that. I reckon first 2. My faith in you is low. I think ending Sector 2, and he's just under a 10th up. The Alpine Reserve getting him up to P7 ahead of Adam. Can he gain enough time to even gain him a couple more tenths to get ahead of Amdi Lennon's? Called it quits. And will be high as P11. Around the final corner here, the Alpine clips the wall. Gains 2.5 tenths up to P6 and does get ahead of the Aston Martin. As Jax around the final corner, pushing the limits as much as he can. 28.7. Incredible lap here from the Haas. That's going to be hard to beat. Like Hardfi. Anyone that's from... There's Tommy Ash on an out lap. He's going to be tight to make it. He's going to just make it. There's Benja half a second up. Oh, cracking lap from and that's enough for George. Oh no, he's warming his tyres. He's going again. Portuguese is invalidated. This could be big. He's got 8 seconds. It's going to be tight to the line to go again. He's just going to make it, I think, with 2 seconds to spare. Has he got enough life in those tyres, though? Crossing the line is Benedict, who will start high as P4. Aston Martin, Giza, then P13. Benji going around the final corner. We'll see him in Div 2 as well. He goes up to P10. I think he'll be happy with that one. Shawnee P's invalidated. He's done for today. As Adamako's found 2.5 tenths. We'll get him up potentially to P7, P6 ahead of Benji. Great final few corners. 30.1 from the Ferrari. Firefangs into the pits. We've got Hassan of Katamise. He's not found that much time, but enough to get ahead of Giza, P13. Benji's done. Jax is in the pits. Portuguese is going again, but he's validated once again, so Portuguese. Tommy's facing the wrong way. I wouldn't say this was unexpected, but it's an incredible time from Jax Daniels. Clattered from the wall for George. Gets ahead of Benedict as well onto the second row. The Red Bull with an incredible lap. Guna gets himself up to P15 ahead of Taffy. But your pole sitter for the first time in Madrid is Jax Daniels by over half a second. Pressure on the Portuguese driver. And where normally you would say, with the pace of the Audi, that some races are done and dusted, he's been left in the wake of Jax Daniels' dust. Brake dust. Bum dust. Tag nuts. Jax Daniels sponsors Tag Nuts with a 28.7 pole time. Portuguese joins him on the front row, 6 tenths behind. Tommy Ash and George on row 2 with Benedict and Adamako 5th and 6th. Benji and Firefang 7th and 8th. Amadi 9th and Benja in the top 10. Shawnee P 11th with Lennon P 12. George gets pole in the elite as well. I couldn't rule that one out. Great lap from the Red Bull. Katami's 13th. Kizagiza 14th with Guna 15th, 16th for Taffy Ross on season debut. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Right, we're gonna have a couple of moments while drivers just sort out their strategies. He was on a lap, I think, Ash. He did still improve his time. Got himself up to the row 2, so I don't know if he'll be too bothered by that. It depends how much time he lost. I'm sure you can discuss it post-race. So yeah, drivers just sorting out their fuel, which isn't really an issue, I think, these days when with all the lifting and coasting of battery preservation. But setup is crucial. It looks like it's going to be a dry race from the conditions. We are in Spain, of course, sunny Spain, sunny España. Get a tapas and the sangria. I'm like 1,200 days on my Spanish Duolingo, and I still can't bloody speak it properly. Oh well. But yeah, let's hear in the chat who's going to be your winner, who's going to be your podium sitters. I'm going to put full faith in my fellow admin member for Jax to take the win. It's going to be one that he's been craving for throughout the season. He's going to best his Aldi challenger. And I think Portuguese will get second, although he's prone to a mistake. He is prone to mistake, and there's no better track currently than you're winning easily, are you, Guna? You are. You're going to overtake everyone and win the race. You are your own namesake. You are a goon for that comment. And then I'm going to go Adamako P3. I think he's probably been putting a few laps in this week, and I think one or two others will make a mistake. Just sharing a dog biscuit with the dog. Nom 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 nom. Those that are watching and haven't already joined, please do. You can inquire. There should be a Discord link below. There is a couple of full-time seats available, with drivers having to take a step back due to other commitments, or they just being babies and don't like the game. Good evening, Senna. You are missed, my friend, and yet it was an insane lap there from Jax, like you said. And we shall work our way round the formation lap. And Katamis and Goon are the only ones to start on the alternate strategy. Very interesting. There is a very high chance of a safety car. So it's an interesting call to start on those hard tyres. Discord link. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I get them sometimes. You always have those bad days at work. But hope we see you back very soon. We've been after this track though. Madrid has previously hosted F1 about 40 years ago at Jarama, which is about 30 kilometres north of the city, but back for the first time, as I said. For the first time here on Lights Out League Racing, and also in real life. It's going to be debuting a weekend of the 12th and 13th of September. I think everyone's going to be interested in that, as well as Mr. Damon Hill. Good evening, my friend. and I'll be looking forward to seeing you on the track. The front two have just pulled away quite quickly. There's a big gap to Tommy and P3 there, but as they work their way around the 5.4 kilometre clockwise circuit, 22 corners, 10 to the left, 12 to the right, with the 2 straight line mode sections, which the second one's probably the one where you want to make the overtake. It doesn't seem like it's the easiest place to make some moves, but I've seen 1 or 2 daring side-by-sides. Jax is on pole with an incredible time, 6/10 ahead of Portuguese if you missed it, and he's leading us round to his grid slot. Portuguese joins him on the front row with Tommy and George on row 2. George with another fantastic performance and getting himself another pole position in the elite tier. Benedict P5 with Adamako alongside the Williams. Benji and Five Fang just behind his 7th and 8th. Amadi P9 with Benji rounding off the top 10. Shawnee P11th and Lennon 12th. Katamise 13th for Kiesgiza. P14 Guna 15th, and Taffy Rose just behind his compatriot. We'll wait for everyone to get in their grid box as we prepare for the race here in Madrid, which is going to be an absolute classic year on year, I think, and this is going to be no different, as it's through 3, 4, 5 for the first time at Madrid. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a great start there from Portuguese. It's already jumped Jax with a very sluggish start off the line. That's not the one that he needed. Benedict up 2 places. It gets clipped back by Tommy there. Benji, one of the biggest losers, down 4 places as George down to P6. Battling there with Benji. Shawnee P already up 3 places to P8, and then there's a bit of a clatter through the chicane. There's already some wings flying off. Carbon fibre bitch in my mouth, and it's you can't go 2 through there. You can't do that. Let's say the worst start there for the Haas, and he needs to stay with Portuguese there. Portuguese showing that his hot laps were a slight error, but he's not able to pull away too much from Jax and the Mercedes of Tommy. Benedict, a little bit of breathing space up to P4. Shawnee P in ahead of Five Fang at turn 17. Great overtake from the Visa Carb. Five Fang in the Alpino looking to do the switch back on the outside of 19. That's brave. That's a great overtake from the Alpine. Now, I said I'd seen some daring moves before, and that was one to add to the collection. Love that one, as Benedict has now joined the front 3. Adamako already in the pits then. Probably one of those ones that's got damage. Not the best start from the Ferrari. Music P11 on those hards. I want to try and make the best of these. I mean, needs a couple of laps to get them to the correct temperature. There's George all over the back of Benji here, but has to slot behind through the chicane. Off 6 and 7. Climb uphill. Big elevation changes on this circuit. And with it being a combination of both the street circuit and a permanent setup, similar to the likes of the Miami International Autodrome. That's probably why a lot of drivers don't like it, to be fair. It's a bit similar to Miami. That's very divisive. Front 3 very in situ at the moment. And if Portuguese is going to want to get another win under his belt. He goes deep at 17. I thought he's going to clatter the wall. He's going to have to fight off, and at the moment he's looking like the slowest out of the 3 here. Yeah, I didn't know anyone's hit the barriers yet, but we did have a few drivers try to go side by side through the chicane. There's Amadi up to P8. Oh, I think Shawnee's had a moment at turn 20. Wheel to wheel with a Haas Academies, who managed to get his nose just ahead of Benedict. Showing what pace he's got in that Williams. has joined that to make it a front four once again. Shawnee P lost an end plate. We will find some of these corners very difficult to navigate. Lennon now into the top 10 up to P9. With Katamis behind him exactly where he wants him. Katamis though, that a little bit of dip in the gravel, which you have to be careful with. Eagle eye of Dave Bandit seen his Div 2 colleague. Colleague, is that the right word? They don't work together. Colleague? Nah. It looks like he's lost an M8 though. Eagle eye saw him hitting the wall from a distance. As we go and have a look at George on Benji. Oh, he's putting pressure on the Mercedes. And Firefang all up in the grill of the Red Bull as well. There's a great battle here as the Alpine, who's made overtake on this sector already before, has a look on the outside. There's nowhere to go as of yet. As the Red Bull of George, I think, has tapped the wall and then slightly ghosted. Competitor, yeah. Thank you. I'm good with my words, but sometimes they just fall short. And we're getting past Shawnee P up to P11. That's not able to make a move as of yet. Needs to put real big pressure on the Audi, who, like I said earlier, is prone to one or two mistakes. So this is a great drive here from Tommy. And George, his own worst enemy. This is the first driver with track limits penalty. And he's caught up in this cluster of drivers, where at the moment Benji is now leading the way for the elite tier. And those that aren't aware of what I'm meaning, we have two divisions for Lights Out League Racing. The Div 1 boys you're seeing as of now as George on the inside of Benji, side by side through 13. Benji not giving it up there and gets his nose back ahead. The Alpine of Firefang on the outside of George as well. George trying to close the door. Alpine just sneaks just ahead. And there's nowhere that George could go there. Great racing from both. As Amadi goes through and George, who's gone slightly offline. George going to look and shake it back on the Aston Martin. Not everyone can do this on the Scotsman. But Amadi holding the inside line. Oh, they lock wheels. And both hit the wall, damage end plate. And George, oh, George retired on track. That's naughty, George. That's a penalty for you. Bang to rights. You need to grow up, my friend. Amadi in the pits then for an early pit stop. Earlier than expected. I think it was just a locking of wheels. I'll bend it just slightly out of that overtake mode range. As Taffy Rose in the pits as well and retiring. Not the greatest of season debuts. Dave Bandit reckons this is how the real race will go. Well, yeah, Lance Stroll was involved in it, so probably. Tommy taking a step back as Jack's looking to make a move. Lost the rear end as he tries to attack the Audi of Portuguese. As Firefang and Benja wheel to wheel. Coming out of 13 and 14, and the Alpine now up to P5. As Guna, last week's Div 2 race winner, ahead of Keys Giza, and up to P11. Another yellow flag. Oh, who's that? I think it's Taffy Rose. Was it Taffy Rose's car? The window licker will crash for sure. Yes. The problem is these cars don't have any windows. Senna says this track's really difficult to overtake, and if Jax goes for an undercut, he should be able to get ahead and pull away. As we see Portuguese, and looks like Jax is really struggling here. Amazon's had it is a one stopper, but he doesn't have damage. Is he really struggling with his tyres already? As Portuguese just dialed in now and found his rhythm. We need to try and stay on the arse of Portuguese here. Jax Daniels. Portuguese with an arsehole so loose it's like the top of a welly boot. Although he doesn't need his welly boots today. He goes all deep. I thought he was going to make a mistake. So we go and see Benja now ahead of Lennon up to P8. Benja with an incredible drive here in the McLaren. And one of a couple of drivers that do a double stint, doing both Div 1 and Div 2 and have full-time seats in both. Benja fighting for that Div 2 title, which would... Oh no, Tommy's hit the wall, and thankfully just by the pits. Oh no. Loses control coming out of turn 21. Tommy, one or two instances this season. Sometimes the fault of his own and sometimes not, but he's found himself a cropper again this time. And one of few drivers, I'm sure, is Lennon and Shawnee P both in as well. Are they for wings or are they for... This pit lane's weird how it's split. Wing change for Shawnee. Lennon's still getting his grid box. Long pit lane and a wing change as well for Lennon as Amadi on those fresh tyres, showing the pace that he has. So now it is down to a front two. And Jax still sticking with Portuguese as we go through lap 7 of 29. I think just maybe a little bit of tyre preservation here. Doing a bit of struggling while he's pushing in the dirty air. Tom's just come out behind Adamako. Looking on the outside of turn 12. This could be a brilliant move on the Ferrari. Adam's not going to give this up though. Wheel to wheel through 13, leaving each other plenty of space. Oh wow, that was brave from both. But Tommy with 5 lap fresher tyres on his outlap up to P10 then. One for the overtaken battles clip channel. As both McLarens then found each other on track. Gunnar now behind his teammate for today. Don't want to hamper the charge of Benja, but if he's going to be holding up his teammate, those that know me know I love a bit of team play. I will gobble this up. And Gunnar will have that overtake mode as well. Jax has just fell out of that overtake mode. 1 second crucial time. Has clawed it back a couple of tenths here through turn 12. It's interesting to see. You can kind of tell when drivers are looking and using their boost. As Jax used it quite a lot through the exit of 11 and through 12. And then Portuguese coming out of 12 just activated his. So I think Jax's strategy has to be making that pit stop. The crucial thing with team play here is that Gunnar is a reserve, so he'll only get half constructors points. So it's a detriment to the team overall standings here. But Gunnar is the quicker driver. Clatters the wall. Benja hanging on the outside. There's no team orders here. Wheel to wheel through 2021. And Gunnar's now got himself ahead as Benja choosing to pit then. And I think one of the drivers will be doing that 2-stop, although Benja does have that wing damage, which is probably why he was slightly slower. Katami's just almost a second now behind Benji. These hard tyres proving to be the better tyre at this stage. on that first stint. Benji will come out behind Lennon and they're just ahead of Shawnee P. Portuguese now 2 seconds ahead of Jax Daniels. And I think Jax's poor start off the line completely changed his strategy as Adam Mako and Giza on circuit, coming out of 12. And you can see in that elevation change coming out of the corner. It's just simply lovely. Overtake for Adam on the hard tyres. Now up to P9. Giza couldn't really battle that too much on those old mediums, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him pit soon. And in comes Jax Daniels then. Is this a two-stopper? Or is this looking to do the one-stop undercut? Benji following him as well with the same strategy. On goes the hard tyres. Benji in as well. Managed to keep his wing out the walls as Tommy Ash with a current fastest lap of 32.8. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Jax Daniels. Jax has come out ahead of the Mercedes then. Guna's in as well. Bit of an earlier pit stop off those hards though. That's an interesting call from the McLaren. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's just doing a bit of strategy trial and error here. Preparing for his Div 2 race. Fastest first sector from the Mercedes. Pushing for another fastest lap here. He's got 4.5 seconds behind Jax Daniels. Jax with his teammate 2 seconds down the road. And probably the perfect driver to be ahead of him. Normally the big fat arsed fridge. He'll part his legs like a Friday night hooker and let Jax go through, I'm sure, through the tunnel. Won't want to hamper Jax too much in the dirty air either, or ruin his own strategy through 20. In comes Benedict and Firefang then. Portuguese going as long as he can, as Catamese does not move out the way. Oh, that's hampered his teammate. Catamese, he normally missed a teammate. Wheel to wheel then down, and Jax does go through up to P2 then. Catamese into the top 3. As Benedict and Firefang both going on a set of hard tyres. It's a great debut here from Firefang. Managed to keep himself out of trouble. And we're looking to have a great battle with the Williams, who's just come out the pits then into P5. Tommy with that slightly earlier pit stop is currently in P4, net P3. Jax will want to push as much as he can. Did Portuguese force himself a big enough gap to prevent the undercut? Will he go as long as he can on these mediums, as Keys is in the pits as well, comes out on his hard tyres. I'm having a feeling here that I don't know if one stop is possible. I might be proved wrong. Amadi and Adamako closing in on Firefang, who's come out on those lot fresher tyres into P6. Scotsman chasing the Ferrari driver, giving the wall a little tap just for the fun of it. Adam will put the defence up, put his elbows out, and won't make this easy for Amadi. Bit of neck lube. Benja with a great move through 21, overtaking Shawnee P, both which you'll see in Div 2 following this race. Amadi all over the back of the Ferrari, He's going to look to make a move just before the chicane. Great overtake from the Aston Martin. Nothing Adamako could do there. There's Tommy managing to overtake Katami's up to the top 3 then. Another brave overtake from the Mercedes. He's falling back away from Jax Daniels. Jax already gained 3 seconds on Portuguese, but Portuguese is going to be going as long as he can. Will he pit now? Seeing the rate of knots that Jax is charging, he is in. It's going to be quite tight here. Does not want to go on the tyres too long and risk a puncture. Jackson coming around the final couple of corners here should take the lead of the race, as Portuguese has not yet hit his grid box. Jackson with 32.7, just showing the pace in this car when he's in a bit of open air. That's exactly what he needs. Portuguese coming out his grid, and Jackson will be comfortably ahead into P1. How close will this be for Tommy? Coming round turn 3. And he will be behind Portuguese. There's a 6 tyre offset there as Adamako in the pits. And just getting some fresh rubber on then to go to the end of the race. Shawnee P and Benja holding hands, skipping through another lap. Katami's then the only one yet to pit, and I think he'll be going as long as he can. Adamako coming out just ahead of Guna, which is gives him plenty of open air to attack. Tommy 1.5 seconds behind Portuguese, as we see Firefang then closing up onto the Haas of Katami's, and it'll be the first time that he has to absorb this punishment of being stuck behind the defensive masterclass tyrant of LOLR. But we've seen some brilliant moves from the Alpine already on debut, and a potential top 5 finish is a brilliant feat. Will he get a better exit out of the final corner? He's going to fight right to turns 1 and 2. Will hold the inside. Firefang gets his nose ahead. Brilliant overtake from the Alpine. No fear. Probably doesn't even know how Katami's races, and just threw himself in there. And crucially, Benedict picking up a track limits penalty. He may fall into the clutches of Firefang if he can keep his nose clean. Portuguese 4 seconds behind then our race leaders. Jax has also picked up a track limits penalty. That could cost him the win. Just needs to try and keep his nose clean, and now that 3 seconds as Gunnar in once again with a fresh wing. He'll be looking for back-to-back wins in Div 2. He's running in P13, but he is a Constructors champion, and every point adds to the Constructors title charge. Shawnee P now on Benja on the outside of 12, looks for a switch back at 13. Benja has it for now. Oh, turned in too early. That could have been disaster for the Visa Carb. Managed to keep it going as Portuguese has put the rubber down, has gained 8 tenths and the fastest out of 31.4. And was in with that 3 second mark now of the Haas driver. 5 under that 3 seconds to Benedict, and we'll close in on him in about 4 or 5 laps time. Landing on a lonely race serves you right, abandoning us so you can go and play with some other guys' balls. Gay! Amadi, who may not have to pit again. I'd probably say he will have to. He's approaching the rear end of the Haas of Katamis. And he'll want to be slapping that ass out of the way. I got a new word for anybody anyway. I went for tapas the other day. And it is now called tapasing. Just so you know. Down turn 20. Amadi already hitting the walls. Tommy's in the pits once again then. Hit a little bit earlier, out of sync after his error coming out of 21. Amadi just following Katamis at the moment. Just biding his time. Both should be able to go past the Mercedes then. 5th and 6th respectively. With Benji just behind. It's a great silent but deadly fart here from Benji. Mind his own business. And at the moment could be taking the elite win. Tommy coming out behind his teammate. So should expect the Mercedes of Benji to part way for his teammate very shortly. Amadi though, he's been pushing the limits and the track, testing the track widths, and has found himself getting punished for it. Is the dirty air affecting his braking points? Definitely affecting his ability to pass the Haas. He's just planting his car exactly where Amadi does not want to see it. This could be the moment though, approaching 20. Amadi going for the switchback, and the Haas just defending for his might. This is for track position. Although different strategies, he does not have to let him past. As Tommy is caught up to his teammate, will we see Benji let him past? And he does. Almost slows down and hits the back of him. Amadi pushing him through turns 1 and 2 with Tommy approaching on fresh tyres. This could be dangerous. Portuguese 2 seconds behind the race leader as Amadi trying to make a move on the chicane like he did for Adamako, but stuck behind. Oh, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. Track limit penalty for the Ferrari. And we've got a 4-car battle here now. 4P5 with Katamis, the cork in the bottle. As Adamako getting ahead of the McLaren of Benja. And we'll look to try and take another life and murder Shawnee. Whoa, this could be brave. Whoa, what a move there from Tommy. Better tyres as the door closed. As Guna retires in the pits and saving his energy for the Div 2 race. Good awareness from Amadi, who knew exactly what Tommy was going to do. Try and do a double overtake and switch back on Katami. He's had the door closed. And Amadi left him enough room to do so as he has a look here. Braking later on the inside of 20. Oh my Christ. Oh my Christ. Oh my Christ. Oh my Christ. I think that was on Amadi then. That was all on Amadi then. Katami's turned in too early. Potential lock of wheels between him and Tommy, who carries on. But Amadi goes in the pits and retires. Bit of a dive from there. Was it a missed braking point from the Aston Martin? But a very rare DNF for the Aston Martin. D being a terrorist as usual. He's not normally a terrorist. I don't think that's a bad diamond of characters. Adamaka has now got ahead of Shawnee P up to P8. Portuguese now within a second of Jax Daniels, and Jax is he's under threat by his own track limits penalty here. Oh, where's Jax just hit the wall? Oh my God! Amdi saying it was a mistake. I think, because I don't know what your assists are, but I know when some drivers have assists off, it's so easy to make a mistake. And in the chat, he said he's generally made a mistake. Something about force feedback and all that. No, Amity's been with us a long time, and if drivers are like that, they don't tend to survive too long in the league. Tommy back behind his teammate then. Benji up to P5. Incredible drive here from both Mercedes drivers. Tommy's been caught up in a couple of incidents which are bound to happen at the circuit when it's a brand new one. And for the nature of the circuit itself, doing a fine job here in P6. I've said that, he hits the wall. Nothing's trying to get past his teammate once again. Oh, Benji leaving him plenty of room. Side by side approaching turn 17, and Tommy goes through Benji, allowing him plenty of room as Katabi's next one to pick up a penalty. Portuguese looking to strike, approaching the chicane, but Jack's holding his own. Portuguese has to sit behind as they climb uphill to turn 8. Jax is not going to make this easy. He's going to try and force the mistake on the Audi to pick up the track limits. The Portuguese, he's no mug, unlike Lennon. He's a Sports Direct mug. Those that don't know, a Sports Direct mug is fucking massive. You can fit half a kettle in that. Benji trying to stay with his teammate, but not able to make too much strides here. Good points on apple for the Mercedes boys if they can stay where they are. I'll tell you, one of my drivers of the day so far, as we're on lap 20 or 29 here, is Firefang on season debut. Up into P4, potentially a podium on his first time out, and closing in on Benedict here. Benedict would love another podium, but he's got to contend with the charging Alpine plus his track limits penalty. Portuguese still stuck behind the Haas, and it doesn't matter which Haas you're stuck behind, it still looks fucking terrible. Marco and Lennon starting their 21st lap here, and Lennon just tapping the wall would give Adam the incentive here to try and make an overtake approach in the chicane. It's not close enough to do so as yet, although he's gaining at the rate of knots. I think he'll have to. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it? This is going to be brave from the Ferrari. Wow. And he might feel that he was slightly cut off, but it was a successful move from Adam, and up to P7 now. Benji and Shawnee at it once again. I think we're going to be seeing this. Oh, Benji goes slightly deep. Manages brake just in time. and avoid clattering the wall. That's cost him a few tenths now too, the Visa carb. Stop hitting the wall. You've got aggression problems. As we go and then see Portuguese at turns 1 and 2. I think he might let Jax go through. He does. It looked like it was a contentious move from the Portuguese driver. And respectful there from the Audi. Both look like they're intact, so no damage done. Benedict's another track limits penalty. That could be signed, sealed, delivered. If Firefang can keep it on the circuit and just navigate himself round, he will find himself on the podium on debut, and I'll hand it straight to him, driver of the day. Entering the pits, then getting some fresh rubber on, maybe trying a fastest lap attempt and some fresh wings. I like my barbecue smokehouse wings. I'm not able to stick with the Ferrari and just slightly dropping back out of that dirty air. Benji just dropping back from his teammate as well, who's very comfortable P5, and will probably be settling for that then. What could have been for Tommy. He's behind up a podium, potentially a race win here. Has some incredible pace at the start of this race, and I think it was his own undoing, losing control at this part of the circuit and forced himself to have to pit. Almost 1.5 seconds behind Benedict now. Firefang, the 1135th Firefang, is pushing to close in on the Williams and wants to consolidate that and make that podium official, as Portuguese having a look on the outside of 13, attempts to switch back on the Haas of Jax, doing a double switchback, but Jax defending well. He wants the bragging rights of finishing first on the track, and if Portuguese does pick up a penalty, and it will be for position. Firefang right on the gearbox now of Benedict, who goes slightly deep at turn 17. Ooh, slight contact from the Williams. The wall's hit by the Alpine. I don't think he's got damage though. I think Benedict's let him go. A bit close for comfort that was with the Williams. Firefang now into the podium positions. 8.5 seconds behind that battle for P1, but I think it's a bit too late in the day for him to try and get any better than what he's got. He's pushing Jax up the hill towards turn 8. Side by side then through 10 and 11, and Portuguese goes through into the lead of the race. Jax has to slot behind. There is a 3 tyre offset, so maybe the tyres just aren't as great, but Jax looking to retake the position through inside of turn 12. Can he make it stick though? I think Portuguese will have the inside line. Jax holding on the outside though, will have the inside of 14. Portuguese though, tyres stuck to the floor. Keep himself ahead now and into the lead of the race once again. This is an incredible battle between these front two. Katami's into the pits and he'll be going for a fastest lap attempt. He loves doing one of them. This is our closest battle on the circuit. As Jax is actually falling behind, and made a mistake here, I think. Either that, he's settling for P2 now, with him having that penalty. Every week when Portuguese outbests the Haas, well, I can imagine he said, "Damn you, sir." I reckon there'll be more expletives than that. Like 25 of 29, 12 out of the 16 runners left, which is not bad for this circuit. I'm expecting a lot more casualties in the Div 2 race, which you'll see in about 20 minutes' time. Portuguese leading the way. He got second over Jax Daniels, with Firefang running comfortably in third. Benedict in P4. Tommy Ash P5, with Benji running in P6. And as it stands, we'll get the P1 in the elite tier. And it's very tight in that elite battle. At the moment, Katamise is leading the way by a point over Senna, who's not racing, so Katamise can gain some points on the Ferrari. Benja a point behind, so if Benja finishes ahead of Katamise here, Benja could take the lead. Well, it could be any of them, Benja or Benji. Spider-Man meme. Between the top 6 drivers, there's 9 points. Which would get spread out. B. Perez is missing this week, who is a further 4 points behind. They're all to play for. Benji. Keyser will close the gap as well, finishing ahead of both Benja and Katamise. The battle is on for the elite. Jack's still stuck here with the Portuguese, who's got a massive lead in the platinum tier. Jax is trying to push it all his might. Good evening, Mike. Magel. Why do you cry, Magel? He's scared that he's going to crash. Don't worry, you won't be the only one. What I'll recommend in the pits then goes Lennon, going for that fastest lap attempt as well. Come out crucially ahead of Giza. If I was you boys in Div 2, and what I would probably do is just fill your car up, and I would... do you get... I'd fill your car up and just do a massive stint on mediums and just get some laps in, and then do a hot lap on softs at the end. Get used to the rhythm of the circuit. But then he might lose those mediums for the race, because there's going to be quite a few safety cars. Wheel to wheel through 12. Can Jax get himself back ahead of the Audi? The wheel to wheel, as they were a couple of laps ago. And I think Portuguese has got himself just ahead, but Jax will have the inside of 14. And Audi just hangs his nose out once again. His nose is that big. He'll stick it up Geppetto's arse. Senna's asking if Firefang can get P2 potentially here. It's only the 3 seconds for Jax, but while they're battling him and Portuguese, Firefang is closing in and could take this P2. This could be an incredible drive from the Alpine. I thought he was way past it, but he's gained about 5 seconds in about 3 laps. As we on the penultimate lap now. Jax Daniels has to be careful here. And we're closing in on fresher tyres than Kieser. Kieser needs to stay ahead. He's got a couple of laps to try and hold off the McLaren here. Plus, he's got a clean rap sheet, so he should beat him on penalties anyway. And get some valuable points in the elite here, the Aston Martin. Very consistent drive here. And you can safely say that he's not the quickest in the league by in the division by any means, but he's in the fight for the elite championship, and you have to be there. You have to be present. His attendance is spot on. His consistency is spot on. And yeah, he's gaining on his competitors here by staying out of trouble. As he goes to start lap 28 then. Jack Daniels has dropped back once again, and now he's dropped back into the clutches of the Alpina Firefang. You can just see the rear wing of the Haas. That's an incredible drive. We'll put a vote out, but he's my driver of the day. Incredible. I love something that surprises me. Like when I can get multiple erections. Surprises me. Enjoy the back of Aston Martin. It's going to be a defensive masterclass from the Welshman. Benji just having to slightly drop back a bit. Jack Daniels has clawed his way back in. Oh, Benedict's in trouble here. Another 3 seconds. Benji taking a look here on Kieser attempting the switchback. Yellow flag. Katamise has had a moment coming out of turn 9. And that's a great move from the McLaren on the outside of 16. Kieser lets him go. Different tyre compounds. He just needs to stay within those penalty range here. Benedict here looks like he's going to get jumped from Tommy, so Tommy eyeing up a P4 here. And pretend this, that cost Benedict his platinum podium. It's not all over from Tommy. I don't think he would have expected that, and it's been handed to him on a platter. Benedict's his own downfall. Incredible drive here from Firefang, who's got himself up to P2, but it's happened right there. Portuguese takes the win for the first time in Madrid for Lights Out League Racing. Firefang taking P2. A big congratulations to him, with Jack Daniels coming home in P3. He'll take P2 in the platinum tier. Next up to cross the line will be Benedict, but he's got penalties galore. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a hand to the Mercedes. But a good drive nonetheless from Benedict, who decided to race last minute. Mercedes, Tommy Ash crosses the line and will take P4 and P3 in the platinum tier, as Benedict has to settle for P5. Benji comes home P6. Congratulations to him. We'll take P1 in the elite tier, with Adamako coming home P7. Shawnee P, Div 2 driver who's full-time as well in Div 1. And I think he'll be happy with this P8. No penalties as well, which puts him good stead for the race following this one. Crosses the line and takes that P8. Lennon bowing out on a P9. It might not be P9 though, as Kieser has overtaken Benji. I think it's had a moment, so Kieser will cross the line and will take P10. Big points for the Aston Martin. Benji crossing the line as the final runner not being lapped. And that is that for Madrid. And I think it's a growing on a show for some. I absolutely love this track. I know one or two drivers are not big fans. There's the pervert himself with a load of naughty photos on his phone, and he's got another one to add to his collection. Another race win, and his domination is becoming ever increasingly evident as he extends his lead at the top of Div 1 and the Platinum tier. Gets himself a fastest lap as well. Driver there given to Keyser. Definitely a contender, but mine will go to Firefang. 31.4 for his fastest lap in P1. Firefang getting P2 from P8. Jack Daniels coming home P3 and P2 in the Platinum, with Tommy Ash taking that final podium position in that tier. Benedict P5, Benji P6 and P1 in the Elite tier. Adamako P7. Shawnee P8 and gets P2 on the podium, with Lennon getting that final podium spot on his final full-time race. Keys Geese round off the top 10 with Benja P11 and Katamise round off that top 10. We lost D, Guna, Taffy and George to the walls of the Mad Ring. And that was an incredible race, and we will be back again probably say in about 15 minutes time for the Div 2 boys, and it's definitely going to be one you won't want to miss. So please join us for that. If you want to catch the Div 1 boys, you enjoyed them so much. We'll be back again next Wednesday at 7:30 UK for race 9, and it's a random circuit. It's a mystery circuit that only I know, and yeah, what are people going to do? I might be nice and release 3 tracks, and it'll be one of them, just so there's a potential 3 that people can practice on. But yeah, it'll be released next week on the day of what the track is, so do not miss that one. But yes, see you in a few moments time. My name is Alex, this is Lights Out League Racing. Like and subscribe. Peace out.